Welcome back, it's me, Lou. Alright, so previously I took a look and reviewed these two action figures. They're both versions of Liu Kang from McFarlane's Mortal Kombat line. Big fan of Mortal Kombat. I say that all the time. This goes back to since the first game, way back in the early 90s. I love Mortal Kombat. I'm amazed that the properties lasted this long. And for me, it's nuts that McFarlane's producing action figures. So these are two great action figures. I like them a lot, but I'm not too keen on this design. I know this is the stock design of Liu Kang in the video game, but I do love the shirtless look. I think it's cool. Alright, so way back when, this is how much of a nerd I am. I still have my old Mortal Kombat strategy guides. Okay, so here's the Mortal Kombat 2 strategy guide. I used to keep this in my dorm when I was in college, because I used to play Mortal Kombat 2 on the Genesis when it came out. And I always needed to know how to do the moves and stuff. Eventually I did commit them to memory, which is insane now that I think about it. So in Mortal Kombat 2... Liu Kang kind of had a costume upgrade from his first appearance in Mortal Kombat 1. In number 2, they added, I think they added the red headband, and then they added the studded gauntlets on his arms, and then his outfit, they outfitted with a red belt and red trim on his pants. Unlike the first game where I think he just had black pants altogether. But this is how Liu Kang looked in the second game. And then in the third game, let's see if we can find him. Where is he? Night Wolf. Come on. Here's Liu Kang. Still kind of retained that look from the second game. They had a different actor though. They had a new actor playing Liu Kang in the video game. Again, shirtless look, black pants with red trim. For me, this is the very iconic look of the character. Even though this is only from the mid or late 90s. For me, this is how I'll always remember Liu Kang. So I love the new figures. I think they're great, but I'm not too keen on the way they look. For me, I'd rather have, if I could somehow take the upper torso that's bare-chested and put it on this body, I'd be happy, because I think I'd be able to create the much more iconic look of that character. And you know what? I did. Let's take a look at that now. Whoops, knocked my camera. Okay, so I actually made my custom Liu Kang right here. Let's take this out so we could talk about him, because there's some interesting things going on with this figure. Alright, so for those of you that remember, this version of Liu Kang was the first one that we saw at retail. And then some months later, they released this version, the Fighting Abbott version of Liu Kang. Wait, this is actually not the real one. Let me grab one. Alright. Alright, because there is a difference. I'll talk about it in a second. But this is the stock version of the Fighting Abbott Liu Kang. And this is the one I did with a body swap. And I'll point out the difference real quick. So the stock version of Liu Kang, if you look at his mid-torso, he kind of fills out pretty well. But then on the custom, the torso, as you can see, his mid-torso, it's a lot skinnier, a lot gappier than the stock version. If you look at their stomachs, This one has a much fuller stomach than this guy here, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Alright, so with this figure, if you have this, you can actually recreate the shirtless look by simply just removing the vest and the shirt. There's actually a fully developed body underneath there. I didn't know that until I submerged this guy in hot water, and then I popped off his head, popped off his arms, and then I was able to stretch the vest out and take a peek, and I was like, oh my god, this guy actually has a full body underneath. And then I removed the vest and then the shirt. It's actually one molded piece. I removed the top, and that left me with this body right here. So he has a fully developed chest, but then his abdomen, it's super, super skinny. And then I was like, man, that seems weird. And then I looked at the stock Fighting Abbott figure, and I noticed that this guy actually has a much fuller stomach. So what I had to do was to create this guy here. I removed the shirt and vest. That was number one. But then removing the shirt and vest, there's another problem too. You're not going to see it, but underneath the shirt and vest, his pants actually rides up a lot higher. So this guy's pants actually rode up to like maybe almost to where the ab cut is. And it's kind of like this dark material here. So I had to take an X-Acto knife and cut it off. So the pants on these two figures, they're not identical either. This one actually has taller, higher waisted pants. So the waist on this guy goes mid-torso, whereas this one, you know, it's just right. So like I said, I had to cut the excess plastic off the pants, and then I swapped this guy's stomach onto this guy and also his chest. When I removed the vest, I know it's like musical chairs here. When I removed the vest off of this guy, it actually left like a paint smudge right there on his pectoral muscle. So yeah, this is how I made this guy. This is kind of like a pointless video, but I just wanted to share it with you in case you like this look. Okay, let's move these aside. So yeah, this is how I envision Liu Kang. You know, in the second and third game, he looked pretty much exactly like this. I hate this style of ab cut. Some of the early McFarlane DC Multiverse figures had this weird cut on the abdomen. It looks weird. I'm not too fond of it. But yeah, this is Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat 2 and 3. You know, this is how I kind of see him. So I think this captures the look much better of the iconic character. Excuse me. Like, the stock look looks alright, but he almost, like I said before, it almost looks like Han Solo, which bothers me. But, you know, this is Liu Kang. He really needs to be bare-chested and all muscular. So there you go, Liu Kang. Properly done. Great figure overall. So if you're really into the much more iconic looks of the Mortal Kombat figures, you know, McFarlane, unfortunately, they're just giving us the looks and costume designs from Mortal Kombat 11. Storm Collectibles, which is another company, they produce their own line of Mortal Kombat figures, and they're the ones that are taking on the more, you know, retro looks, you know, like the characters that they've released. For example, they released Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden. I think they released, I want to say Sector, and I think they've done Goro already, and Motaro. All those figures, they represent, you know, the era of Mortal Kombat 2. So for people, if you're like in my age group, that might be the figure line you might lean towards more. The only thing difference is that the Storm Collectibles, those figures command crazy high prices. You're looking at, you know, I think right out the bat, those figures go for like, I think like $80 retail. versus these, which are like anywhere between, I think, like $19 to $24, depending on where you buy them. But, you know, McFarlane, God, man, the line's been around for a while, and they've tackled a lot of the characters. So for me, I really want McFarlane to tackle Kung Lao. They need to do a Sonya Blade. I need a Jax figure, which I hope they get around to soon. And like the Cyborg Ninjas. I'd love those. And, you know, there's more and more characters, but for me, I just want like the core roster. That's what I really want right now. Alright, so let's wrap this video up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a continued viewer or subscriber, did I say that right? If you're a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.